What's up? What's up? What's up? Big, big, crazy day today. Should talk about it. Mostly around realtor safety. Just give it 1 or 2 minutes here, uh, and we will hop on. So the real message I wanted to talk to you about. Hey, you're a realtor and as perfect. Let's see what we got here. View request. Perfect. What's happening? I accepted it. I don't know what it's doing though. Maybe you did that on accident. Accept. Well, hit accept. Hopefully that'll, if you decide you want to hop on, we'd love to have you. That's weird. It says that you're on. Let's see. It says you are unable to join. But well, we'll jump into it here. So, really, what I wanted to talk about today was uh, re- realtor, I guess, violence, which is a big thing. Hey, how are you? CDL Type 2. Good to see you on YouTube. Uh, so there have been a handful, I'll go back over the last, I don't know, 15 years. There have been a handful of uh, problems that have plagued the real estate community. Today, apparently, there is some seller in El Cajon down in San Diego, and I posted this on my personal Instagram, but uh, essentially, you have a seller who asked to meet with a real estate agent. The real estate agent got there, and there was a massive problem. There was um, I guess, a noose that was set up in the, um, like near the staircase or something. And um, when the agent asked, "Hey, what is that?" He goes, "Oh, I'm just, all these bottom feeding realtors. I want to, I don't know, there's a threat of violence, like physical violence, right?" So, really, what I want to talk about today, and I guess a few things. First, maybe you can or can't tell from these videos. I'm not a small person, I'm 6'1", 200 and something pounds. So um, for uh, for me, obviously, you still have to be vigilant, but maybe um, other people may even have to be more vigilant than somebody that might be a little physically bigger. Um, so the question really becomes, how do you protect yourself in situations like that, right? How do you protect yourself? How do you even know who you're dealing with, I guess, is the other piece to the puzzle. How do you know who you're going to show property to? um, how do you know that they're not out for ulterior motives? And I guess we talk about this a little bit in our real estate practice class, but honestly, this is not such a big issue that it should frighten you or stop you from wanting to sell real estate or go after all the business that you can get. But it is a big enough deal where, you should at least use some best practices, right? We clearly don't want to show property at night if you can help it. You don't want to show property at night. Um, you want to let people know where you're going. You might want to share your location with a spouse or a boyfriend or girlfriend or a parent or even another real estate agent or, a daughter or son, or let people know where you are. Um, and about once every like 5 to 10 years, it seems like there's this issue that comes up around agent safety. 10 years ago, there was a real estate agent in Arkansas, and again, this is 2013 or 14, and she had been killed by um, her name was Beverly Carter, and Beverly Carter was killed by someone who claimed that he just wanted to go see a house, and then he ends up doing something ridiculous. Then you fast forward, like right before COVID, or maybe the first year of the pandemic, maybe it was like 2020 or 2021. There was like a ring camera or a camera of a real estate agent at an open house, and somebody walked in and she kind of felt weird, so she went away. And I might have this wrong because it's been a few years since I've seen it, but like she like pushed him off, and then he came at her, and then he like ran away. I think this was in like Glendale or Burbank, and now we have this situation that came up in El Cajon in San Diego today. So I guess just a little bit of a reality check, a little bit of a gut check, I guess. Just, this job does require that we are um, doing business with the wholesale public. Anybody that wants to look at one of our listings, they call you and say, "Hey, can you open up this property for me?" That's part of the job. "Hey, can you come list my house?" It's part of the job. You got to go see the house, and you're going to be in a house with a stranger. So, um, again, this sounds really scary, when you talk about it, because you think about this job versus other careers. I mean, in most other careers outside of like retail or maybe the medical field, I mean, you're not really dealing with, the public. There's a screen, just like right now, right? There's a screen between you and I. There's distance between you and I. I mean, I could be in Thailand or Zimbabwe or whatever it is. You're not like face to face. But when you look at the realtor aspect of the job, where you're showing property and all this, it does make you think like, hey, we got to make sure that we stay safe um, as a profession and as a community. And when you talk to real estate agents about, hey, what are you going to do to protect yourself? What are you going to do to make sure that that you stay safe? And often people will say, "Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a CCW. I'm going to get a carry concealed weapon permit." And a couple things about that, right? And certainly the Second Amendment is to be respected. I mean, we live in a country where that's part of the fabric of our society. So, there's probably not going to be a world where we eliminate every gun. But separately, if you think about, like, imagine I'm a client and you're my realtor, and I ask you, "How's the community? My wife and I are moving here from, Seattle. We're keen to move to LA. Can you tell me a little bit about the community?" And you start talking about how nice the community is and how safe it is and all that. And all of a sudden, you reach over to grab something, and your jacket opens a little bit, and you got even a little 22, which is, is not, which is a small gun. You're or the round is small. I mean, it's weird, right? Like, it's you tell your client how safe the neighborhood is, and all of a sudden you have a gun. I mean, so I mean, I don't know what the answer to this is, and I don't know how, you know, I don't know what to say about this other than we're not going to be able to create a world where we don't show property, right? That's part of the job of the real estate agent, is to show homes and to be. And by the way, that's one of the wonderful things about the job. You're not tied to a desk. You're not tied to a laptop or a computer 9 to 5. Or 8 to 5 or whatever it is. I mean, you can make your own schedule. You can get some sun if you want. You can take a 2 hour lunch. You can take no lunch. I mean, you make your own hours. This is like part of the appeal. You're not chained to a desk. But because roses have thorns, this is a sad reality of the business. So anyway, if you look at my personal Instagram page, you'll see the post where um, the agents kind of said, "Hey, just be careful. This is the." I didn't post the full address just because I didn't feel like that was maybe appropriate, but I did post the majority of it. So just so you see the street and all that. But really, I kind of want to know what you guys think. I mean, is is mental health in our world at a place where this has to be super top of mind? Is it just an anomaly? And hey, this is just a once every 5 or 10 years thing. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Surely you must have some opinion, but anyway, maybe you don't, right? Maybe this is not that big of a deal where and maybe that's a good thing, but we do have to be vigilant. We do have to be diligent about where we are and who's around and all that. But anyway, any final questions or thoughts about this topic? I want to try to do these a little more regularly. So would love to kind of get your thoughts about this. So far says if the class divide in America becomes deeper and wider and the middle class becomes smaller and vanishing, does our money through? Yeah, I mean the middle class on YouTube so far says if the class divide in America becomes deeper and wider and the middle class becomes smaller and vanishing, doesn't it remind you of third world countries? I think that is a very complex and nuanced and interesting question because what does it mean to be middle class, right? That is the question because there's an argument that even poor people in 2025 live better than upper middle class people in like 1930, like access to healthcare, life expectancy is better. And there is also this position which you're talking about, which is totally valid, and that is, what does it mean to be middle class? Because in the 80s, middle class meant you had job stability, you could afford to own your own home, there was food on the table, there was gifts under the Christmas tree for Christmas, and life kind of chugged along. You were able to send your kids to college. It wasn't outrageously expensive. And now many of those things I just listed are not easy right now. So, yeah, you're right. It does seem like there's a divide between the ultra wealthy and the folks that maybe aren't doing so well. But the nuance to that, of course, is, are people living in better conditions now than they were 60, 70 years ago, even if you're lower middle class? So it is nuanced. um I think it's important. On Instagram, Nanny says, I think it's important as a realtor to notify someone of our whereabouts and be aware of our surroundings for everyone's safety. 100%. 100% for sure. You should never be in a situation where folks don't know where you are. Um, that is, um, that is um, very, very, and technology has made this easier, right? You can easily share your location permanently or for an hour or whatever it is. And I think there's also some like common sense things that go around with this, like maybe avoid ostentatious jewelry or accessories, don't show property at night, don't park in a driveway where your car could be blocked in. I mean, yes, um, there are some common sense things that we can do. And by the way, I'm not saying that your realtor, Hinez, I'm not saying that obtaining a CCW is good or bad. I'm just saying that it is something that should be taken and with the degree of responsibility that it deserves. Right? I think by saying that, I'm sure that you know that. Uh, Ralu Kaman says, "What's your other IG?" It's let me write it down here. This is really for the school, and I just want to talk about real estate stuff. I have a lot of personal stuff on my um, personal Instagram. But yeah, I was actually really saddened. I was saddened for a bunch of reasons, seeing that Facebook post about what I mentioned. Um, because f- for a newer real estate agent, like a call when someone says, "Hey, can you come list my property?" is like exciting. It's like fun and hey, I'm going to get a deal. I got a client. I got to do the research. I got to get the CMA going. I got to do this, that, and the other. And it's like it's a bummer when you don't get the listing, but when you show up and the seller has a noose in the kitchen and is like super disrespectful and you feel threatened and apparently this agent actually called the cops. I mean, that's not that is bad on all sorts of levels. Antlo says, is it possible that more of these cases of violence aren't covered? Covered by what? But any other real estate stuff that you guys want to talk about the market, about um, maybe we talk for a quick second before we go about commercial real estate. There's a building in downtown LA, the Deloitte building. Apparently, Deloitte had a very large um, office in downtown. That was their headquarters, and apparently their lease isn't up until 2031. But they've bailed out of downtown LA and they moved to El Segundo, creating a lot more vacancy in downtown. I think the vacancy in downtown office is like 35 to 40%. So it is, it's very interesting. These downtown areas are one area, and it's not just downtown LA, but it's a lot of downtowns, downtown San Francisco, a lot of downtowns across the country. They haven't seen the surge in prices or the like strong comeback that we saw from a lot of other asset classes in real estate. Industrial has done very well. Apartments have exploded, right? Rent to so far as point, rent is astronomical. I mean, a lot of these other asset classes have appreciated a lot, but for some reason, for a bunch of reasons, office hasn't office hasn't hasn't done that. But anyway, I just want to hop on for here for a little bit, and say hi. And if I can help you guys get your license or you need anything real estate related, would love to connect with you and chat with you. So send me a note or a DM, and yeah, maybe we'll catch you guys tomorrow. See you guys real soon. Thank you. See you, Instagram.